down with the sickness. Melts again up. Come on, get down with the sickness. You sicko, get up. Come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your eight and let it come at me. Okay, so JD from NY tweets out, during the AEW pre-show in YouTube. Amazing, isn't it? And so this guy, I don't even want to put it that much on screen. We get these all the time, the AEW Full Gear stream on whatever. We get those bots on our stream.
Yeah.
But this guy here, like G status 911111 for $2 says JD from NY mole tested.
Mole tested.
YouTube, his dead cat, which is crazy, guys. No one, PWT Universe, we don't leave comments like that about other people in AEW. We're not sickos. Well, we're sickos, but we're not sickos like that. But 15 likes as well. Now, like, it's kind of funny. I wouldn't get mad, and like JD handled it well. He's just like, amazing, is it? But I don't know. I wouldn't get upset. I would just be like kind of popped that someone paid AEW to say something about me, because then a bunch of people saw it and maybe they'll go look my up. That's the way I look at it, you know. But I don't know. I pop for that. That's funny, I guess. But yeah, no one's mole testing. Let's leave that sort of stuff alone. Ultimate Graps Wrestling Fan says, giving my flowers to one QT Marshall, as he was a total pro for agreeing to do that match and got the crowd invested heavily into it, made everyone look good. So this guy's giving him props. And then QT goes, agreeing, it was my idea. Also, thank you, but keep your flowers. In fact, keep your stars. Definitely keep your cage match ratings. Ooh, buried cage match. He goes, the reactions from the live audience tells me everything I need to know about how everything went. After watching back, I'd say it went well. I don't know. Is he healing? Does he think he's doing good heel work here? Is that what he thinks?
I hope so. Yeah, I was gonna say I think so, but actually, I hope so. I hope that's what he's doing.
So, this Cage Size Seats posted this article, which is such a big L. Big L, rest in peace. CM Punk's WWE comeback is losing its luster.
What?
And they posted this on the 20th, and then he comes back on SmackDown. And everyone's like, what? That's and then great. His 1 year anniversary comes up and he breaks the internet with his backstage interaction videos that dropped all over.
So good.
Oh my God.
The video's so good and like totally proves that, you know, everything that was said about him was complete. But yeah, losing its luster. Okay. Did you not hear that pop when he came out with Heyman and joined the Bloodline storyline? Yeah. Losing so much luster. Woo. That's a hard L.
Yeah. That's so cage side, whatever. Laugh at that. So Brett Lauderdale, so this guy King Gao, who's just like an AEW nut rider, which is cool. Let him do his thing. Brett Lauderdale and GCW talent representatives were outside of AEW Full Gear last night, dressed in orange jumpsuits, handing out free tickets to their poorly selling Hammerstein Ballroom show, which it's like, bro, you don't got to do all that. But Brett Lauderdale responds, we talked about it earlier. He goes, I know it's cool to trash GCW now, but this is complete. Yes, we had a crew there dressed in jumpsuits, as seen in our promo video, but they were not handing out free tickets. They were handing out flyers, 5,000 of them to be exact. It's called marketing. Cooked him. But then what are these tickets from? Or this could just be this could be like a picture of tickets from Reddit that they just, who knows if this Gal person made up or if someone made it up and they're regurgitating it. Who knows? However,
or if they could be somebody's real tickets and they just could have edited them to make the $0 or whatever. You know, they could be, you know, $50 tickets. You just scratch out the 5. You know,
and shout out Lauderdale for like,
because they've got stuff blocked out too. Like if you look to the left of the ticket there, like next to the Hammerstein, there's a gray blocked out dash. So
this guy goes, A drones, don't worry, AEW is fine. Also AEW.
You pleaded, you begged us to make you care.
I hate to laugh at that, dude. Because NXT too, they talk to a wall, but at least there's like it's like a production. It's like studio wrestling. Like that half of the stage of the studio, it's where there's cameras and there's production guys and they're doing everything. So it's not as cringe to just empty seats, because the empty seat thing is like there's no one there. There's like a hard cam and like a couple people standing in the dark, but you and me go fishing in the dark. So
they'd put people there if they could.
Exactly. That's the problem. Like in NXT, the people they put there need to be there for the production of the television program, you know? So that is the difference. Now, some people could say that's cope, but I just call that like just truth? A technicality. Yeah, just truth and like perception. That's a perception thing, you know? You're in a tight-knit studio packed to the gills, wall to wall everywhere, except where all the people controlling like lighting and camera production, like the hard cam and all of that is coming from there, you know, or compare that to just empty seats that they wish were full. It's kind of, you know, you got to be honest about that. So
that's why they're moving to smaller buildings. They've got to.
And this guy at Andy Buckdog says, and still a better in-ring product. Keep coping. So I don't know if you prefer AEW style, I guess, but I disagree. I think WWE is a more sports-based, a better pro wrestling program. Yeah. That's my opinion. So AEW Freakazoid, this is the Pro Wrestling Counselor. Shout him out. He says, Freakazoids are turning on the company, but still aren't calling out the guy in charge. You know, Grand Slam is changing their venue in Australia. We talked about that earlier in the show. And this guy, G Status Right, says, got to keep it 100, and I rock with AEW, but what in the hell was Kosha Irby thinking? WWE couldn't sell out a stadium show in Australia, so what made him think that AEW could? AEW in 2025 is downgrading venues due to lack of marketing. AEW can really drop the ball sometimes. Yeah, and it's more than lack of marketing, too. If they market this product, it's not going to work the way he thinks, because he did market to WWE early on, man. He quoted Alfred Konuwa about Dynamite smashing NXT in the ratings. And so they used that in their own commercials and aired it like during SmackDown. And so he tried that, man, but marketing it to the masses just won't work the way they think. And a lot of people are trying to point that out, but no one wants to listen. AEW Fans Latino America, who is just such a toxic account, man.
Seriously.
They talk so much. Matt Hardy, so like wrestlers have called this account out too that work for AEW. Like, dude, shut up. You make shit worse. But he goes, here's another person who also thinks like us. That guy Kosha Irby should have been fired a long time ago. He doesn't even promote the company on his networks. So they want people fired for a lack of marketing. Like, they're blaming it on that and not blaming it on the fact that people aren't interested in AEW, bro. And yes, it's not marketed as well as WWE, but like, don't book stadiums then. Like, why do you think we're going to beat Raw in a couple years? Then why is this an excuse now? Why wasn't it like, well, look, man, we hope we beat Raw, and if we do it with less of a marketing scheme, that'll be great. No one was saying that, you know?
Yeah.
It's just it's always an excuse is the problem. So even when it's a valid one, sometimes it gets dismissed. It's like crying wolf. Some of these sickos and Meltzer and these guys, they've cried wolf so many times where now when you even have a valid point, maybe it isn't marketed properly in Australia. I'll give it that, but it's just like we can't even buy into what you're saying now because there's been so much along the way. So this guy responds, I tell you this, if AEW doesn't increase their marketing and attendance with him by May of next year, they better fire him. I still haven't seen any progress with him. That's a fact. Attendance was better last year when he wasn't hired. That's facts. See, they don't get it, but here's the thing. The attendance last year was better the year before, though, and then better the year before, or I guess COVID, but you not counting that. You guys know what I'm saying. Like the legit years we can count with attendance. The attendance has been going down and down and down. So is the TV viewership. Why is it all at the same time? At the same time, 1-to-1. The viewership and the attendance year over years down, down, down. Why? It's so like you're completely skirting over what the real issue is. But yeah, they're eating the company alive, man. So Mercedes Monet tweets something out. Oh yeah, this person out of nowhere just brought smoke upon me to themselves, right? And this at Bailey 200213 said, tagged me in this thing where this guy's talking. He's like, there's this one idiot in the IWC who so happens to have a podcast on YouTube. He feels that you're a plant from WWE working undercover to make an entire division an embarrassment. He's the biggest clown in the IWC. So this is in response to Mercedes Monet. And this guy tags JD from NY. And then this person here at Bailey 200213 goes, they're another IWC Pro Wrestle Times. He biggest clown as well. And then I respond and go, you're who she's talking about, my guy. But then I quote tweeted, I'm like, I'm biggest clown as well. I own these sickos. And yeah, Jay, I am the clit commander. No one runs a clit like me. None of you fucks out there. None of these little fucks. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
That's great.
I'm in the line of fire myself. Even I can make the sicko segment, folks. That's how it goes. So Jay from Canada says, okay, what is wrong with these people? This is like a cult-like mentality. It's just pro wrestling. It's not that deep. Took Timbo says, you can say and do whatever you try and tear this company and community down. Absolutely nothing will stop me from protecting and supporting a company that means a lot to me. No one on earth can make me silent. Big pages have come after us for far too long. You and I have the power to change and make our community better. Stop supporting these people that spend their whole life trying to tear down something that has changed the world of pro wrestling. I love AEW and I believe in Tony Khan. Never stop fighting.
Jesus.
That's amazing, dude. It's very cultish. Here's the thing, dude. I love AEW too. I really do. And I want it to be better. And if they ran smaller buildings, which I had to say for 2 years and get talked to Timbo, you've talked to me about just saying that they need to run smaller buildings and Tony's bad at creative. And you can believe in Tony Khan. I believe in Tony Khan too, actually. I believe his money and resources are a big positive. And if he just took a step back, right, he would be a net positive on wrestling as a whole. And you could say giving all these people jobs and money is a net positive. And I'll even actually agree with that. I do think AEW overall, because dude, we can have these debates, we can have these discussions, we can laugh at this. There's more like, dude, if WWE was doing clown like this, I'd make fun of it so hard, bro. I'd make fun of it so hard. There's just two contrasting things. I just saw two women have a tremendous match on this show, but I will put over what I like. You know what I mean? And that's my prerogative too. So it's not, I'm sure Took Timbo, if you look at his Twitter chat, he buries WWE. So again, it's more of like this, it's okay to do this, but it's not okay to tear down what we're doing over here because I like it, but whatever you like. Anyone saying like that to you, man, those people, you know,
Tony should just be the promoter and hire a booker, but he can't.
I'm not telling anyone don't watch AEW. In fact, I encourage it. I want you all to see what I'm seeing. Do you see what I see? I really do, because then I can be like, guys, did you see this? What just happened here? Is that, you know, you guys, I'm doing commentary for it. People would rather listen, even if it's 10 people in my chat, right? There's 10 people who'd rather come listen to Phil Marks do color commentary on the show than actually watch the show and come up with their own idea. Like, that's amazing. And you come up with your own ideas based off what I'm saying. And I know I can influence things, etc. But I believe I approach things fairly objectively and neutrally. At least I try to, God damn it. Maybe even to a detriment a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. That's my approach. Everyone doesn't have to have that approach. I'm not on channels where there's people who just mark out over WWE stuff. I don't care about that. I'm not going to hate on that either. But if WWE fans are doing cult like with Triple H, okay, I'm going to laugh at it and we're going to make fun of it too. You never see that posted. And any account like Wrestle Cringe, who might post something like that, blocks me and doesn't allow, you know what I mean? I can't interact with these people. Or I couldn't. Now I can see their stuff, but I'm not going out of my way to look at Wrestle Cringe posts.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I should more, because I'll get, maybe there's some drone over there, but I make fun of the drones too. I made a nerdy drone emoji. You got to make fun of them equally, but it's hard to when one side is very cult-like. It's very cultish, man. So I don't know. And in WWE, you have like kind of culty, like Liv fans and Rhea fans. They're like their own cults, but it's within WWE. Like there's whole rivalries that are within WWE. It's always AEW versus WWE because that's what Meltzer and all these guys keep trying to do. So we just have to give that energy back. If Meltzer's going to talk about key demos and Meltzer's going to talk about profitability and all of this, and we have to call it objectively and use that as the metric. Otherwise, what are we talking about? Right? Okay, well, who's doing better buildings? What's the better show? And people don't like to use that metric, but it's like, yes, bro. If a movie sells the most tickets, that means more people attended it, which means it's a better piece of entertainment. So it's one, you know, I'm sorry to tell you guys that. I don't know. No other wrestling companies ever disputed attendance not being a factor until AEW's a thing. So we have to call that out and use it as a factor to let people know who's crazy. You're not allowed to say attendance is not a factor. It's always been a factor. It's always been why we clowned on TNA for being in that Orlando studio where the crowd didn't give it and didn't even know what was going on. You turn on TNA, and my biggest criticism of it back in the day was like, bro, you're watching it, and even when they're cooking, no one cares because they don't give a, because they're not at every TV taping. They don't watch this on TV on the Pop channel, so no one knows what's going on. That was like the biggest criticism. Okay, so like, no, we don't get to all of a sudden change it for AEW just because you guys are in a cult. No, that's what your cult leaders are telling you. No one in WWE, if the houses are down, like let's say Raw and SmackDown start going to war and the houses are down for every SmackDown, but they're up for every Raw. Are we not going to call that out and discuss it and I'm not going to rant and rave about why on the show? You're a dummy if you don't think that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're just giving what they gave to us. We're just throwing it back in their faces and going, well, look, Dave, you said the overall viewership matters when you wanted to say WWE was in the now you're saying key demos what matters when it comes to what's better show or what's head to head or what, dude? What the f are you doing? He just shifts.
Yeah.
You got to throw it in your face. So that's why people like assholes like me exist, dude. You all created us. Moving along here. Yeah. Awful Wrestling. He made like the Twitter trending. Like this post the 640K viewers.
Wow.
That's Awful Wrestling. Dude. That's
great.
Amazing. And if he photoshopped that, bravo. But I don't think he did. MJ from NJ says, I would also, okay, this is a long post here. Who's this about? John Draper says, not coming up enough of this conversation is that this person is actually paid. So this has to do with Kate Fightful, right? So Draper says, not coming up enough of this conversation is that this person is actually paid and comp to attend AEW press conferences, but JD isn't allowed anywhere near the backstage talent, etc. That's how you know it's a joke. And so Kate basically trashes WWE, calling people final testicles and all this, which is fine. I make funny names too. But
everything sucks.
Yeah, but she's like, everything sucks, even AEW. Obviously, she got cooked by Lashley and them in the press conference. So then MJ from NJ says, I would also like to add, it is being lost in the shuffle that the individual has repeatedly expressed a desire to get off of X, but each time would come back to mix it up and, of course, promote Fightful, including pitching sales, sponsorships, etc. And I don't know. Here's some screen grabs. And then, we covered this in the Burial of Fightful. If you guys want to see that, go and check it out. But Kate, here's a couple of her tweets that she's put out there in the past. Like 2 spots already sold for the Fightful Awards. Get them while they're hot. Includes on-air reads, social promotion to estimated 500,000 followers, inclusions in all promotion articles. So she's selling like these promo spots for the Fightful Awards. It's like, I mean, okay. I don't think this will happen, but I'm absolutely deleting this app if this happens. Follow me on Threads where literally even the bots are nicer. And then now they're all on Blue Sky. So Threads didn't work out because it's just they don't understand how the bubble complex works, which is a term that I coined, the bubble complex. That's not like a thing. Or the paradox, the bubble paradox, whatever you want to call it. But it's just silliness. JBL, speaking of like social media, JBL is and being in a bubble. JBL has blocked over 17,000 people on Twitter. Like that's insane. But you know what though? Good. Like block, like protect your peace, man. Even when people block me, I'm not like, I'm not mad that they block me. It's just if you want to pull an SRS, which you guys are going to see later, if you want to block and unblock me and block and to say, well, we can just have the conversation. But if you're going to block to be like, I'm chew at you and we just don't ever interact again, I'm cool with that too. There's lots of accounts where like, bro, I don't want to interact with some of these sickos, you know, who would? But JBL, dude, protect your peace, man. That's why the button's there. And
JBL blocks them and he doesn't check back as we're, Sean is going to unblock people and go back and keep tabs on things and all that crap.
So Pro Wrestle Counselor says, I agree with him, but where was he when AEW had more titles than AEW? AEW has 17 titles in total. If you only want to include AEW, 10, but then again, almost every ROH title is featured exactly. But Elboo comes out and goes, more championships are not a substitute for good booking, good stories, and creative attention, devotion. The more titles that exist, and this is the same with Meltzer, right? So when AEW had all their titles and all the Ring of Honor titles, and I'm coming on the show and going, why do they have all these titles on this show? It's ridiculous. Now that WWE does it, it's okay for them to criticize it.
Right.
Before they do it, it's not okay. And when Dave who's like the camp counselor at the cult there. He says it, and then they all feel it's okay to say it. But I do agree, though. It is a good point, but it's like a point that so many people made before that no one would say anything about until WWE starts doing too much, right? And then now we're going to start talking about it, and then AEW has to come up by proxy, but where's Elbu even bringing up AEW? 11 belts on the main roster. Most pay-per-views are 5 matches long. There are more mid-card women on Raw than top stars, but it's hard to see this being much more than giving a lot of those hour 2 Raw women something to fight for. I'd be floored if they succeed in making fans care about the prize the way they do the men's IC, for example. You'd probably have to give it to Becky at first and commit to an elevation project like Lyra from Jump. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, they need to establish it. I don't, whatever. He's just fantasy mark booking, but he would never even have that discussion about AEW. He would just go, no, too many belts, man. They're Ring of Honor belts. You know?
Yeah. No, that's just, it's so funny how they can try to play that game. And actually, what's sad is you feel like they actually believe it when they're typing it. Even though they know.
So this guy, D-Beat Cooper, responds to Bischoff, who, what did Bischoff say here? So Bischoff says 700K is the new 1 million. Don't be surprised to see sub 500K a few times by second quarter 2025. And then D-Beat Cooper is like, glad to see your continued support to the wrestling industry by Sean Wrestling. Great job. And then Bischoff responds, I only on wrestling and goofs like you. Okay. So wrestling counselor posts, I'm shocked. The AEW freakazoids are finally turning on Tony. Tony gone. This guy goes, I'm surprised y'all still had respect for him after the Anthony Henry situation. Right. And this guy goes, seeing the full Fightful report, any respect I had for Tony Khan is gone. So much for workers' rights, I guess. He moves just like Vince used to, but people will make excuses because wrestling fans have parasocial relationships with bookers for some reason. Yeah, that guy's right. Tony, it's not even like you got to respect Tony. You don't have to have respect for him to be like, he's a nice guy. But yeah, I mean, how would you really respect him? What has he really earned?
Right. You know? Yeah, exactly. He hasn't earned anything. He just has daddy's money.
He released Anthony Henry while he was injured, then claimed he only did it so he could rehire Henry when he was healthy, which is objectively worse. Yeah, that's like illegal. That's illegal. Yeah. You're going to jail. Jesus. You know? So yeah, more Tony buffoonery. So this guy right here, AIR Gold, such a geek. So Raw will be on Netflix. Raw is going to get a fraction of the viewers, so don't worry, buffering won't. Won't be a problem, smiley face. Not cute, not funny, not anything.
Yeah,
just
a fraction of 60 million will still be pretty good.
And then AEW blog, the WWE ID thing was designed just to keep good wrestlers away from AEW, right? And then counselor Tony Khan on his burner. So this guy, real Swerve Strickland, says, quit copying the loud ones and start studying the silent ones. And that's, I believe, in response to Ricky Starks. Like, that's like after Ricky Starks thing came out. Now, of course, Swerve would be like, no, it isn't. Seems rather timely. But start studying the silent ones. I guess, man, the thing is the silent ones in AEW are just keeping a job, like, to do nothing, and they're not really doing anything to help the future of pro wrestling. That's what people talk about with AEW too. Is it good for pro wrestling? Well, I don't know. I think NXT and the WWE ID program and the NIL and all that is good for the future of pro wrestling. I think all these women we're seeing really step up is good for the future of pro wrestling. I don't think, like, on the WWE side, in AEW, what's happening? Like, people are getting really badly hurt, and we're just seeing people ride out their prime years, like getting paid to chill at home. And I just don't know if that is good for wrestling necessarily. I gotta be honest, man. Personally, Awful Wrestling tweets out, Moro made Rosie Perez seize up with his breath. So shout out Moro Ronaldo, love him, but we got to talk about this in the Sicko segment here. I guess he had bad breath while he was doing the commentary.
Halitosis.
Yeah, with Rosie Perez, which is funny that she was doing. She did a good job, though.
I think his breath stinks because look how she's facing. Yo, I'm Puerto Rican. If it's one thing I know, that face right there, she smells something she does not like.
Yeah, dude, that is shout out Morrow though. A great
Maybe he dropped a
commentator.
bomb. Could have been that just creeped up on her. Could have been one of those. Yeah.
Andrew Zarian says, as a father, I love that he is able to give his incredible experience to his son. That's what matters at the end of the day. Yeah, I agree. They killed it, man. Those Costco guys killed it. I had fun with that. So Pro Wrestling Counselor says, I don't like Effy. I criticized his gimmick before for perpetuating homophobic stereotypes, but this is what you're crying about, Tony Khan. You can't buy thick skin with your dad's money. So here is what Tony Khan is mad about Effy doing, which is what caused him to pull Ricky Starks off of all of his GCW dates. We covered it earlier in the show. If you missed it, catch the replay. But yeah, dude, AEW's doing a show really close to GCW Hammerstein's show, Hammerstein Ballroom, whatever you want to call it. And Ricky Starks showed up at the GCW, that show in the New Jersey Mall. Crowd went insane. Yeah. Apparently, Tony Khan pulled Ricky off of all of his future GCW dates and his feud with Matt Cardona. We won't see the end of it because of this. These clips were about to play from Effy. However, as we covered it earlier, Mox and Marina Shafir were allowed on the GCW Bloodsport event. So I don't know. The math ain't math. And let's hear what Effy said about Shad Khan.
We are moving forward to the big Hammerstein show. And let me be honest. All right. I'm not going to sound
be
bitter.
frank.
I'm going to be frank. We announced the show. It's big. We're returning almost.
Don't call me Frank.
3 years later to the date. Big time. And there's no way it's not going to make me sound like somebody could clip this and be like, he's being a jealous bitch. Not only like 2 weeks later, AEW announces they're going to do the same venue 3 nights. For them, it would be considered a smaller venue. Ring of Honor historically has used this venue. WWE has historically used this venue. ECW has historically used this venue. There's a lot of wrestling history in this venue. The current Ring of Honor is not what Ring of Honor was before. It's mostly just kind of their AEW dark product. I understand they want to do it. It's very exciting for people to do it. I don't understand why there's no exclusivity to wrestling. I guess we didn't negotiate it. But
do you hear what he's saying? So all you marks who are like, WWE exclusivity, like even Effy's saying, who's an indie guy, who's like, I don't need any big company, who's even said he doesn't need AEW or anything. And he's getting his money, man. He's traveling the world doing his thing. But and criticize Effy and his wrestling, whatever, all you want. But here's the thing. He's saying what the Federation does, and it's like even this guy gets it. Why? Because he's good at business. This guy understands. He's made a great business for himself outside of the wrestling business. Matt Cardona gets it. Effy gets it. So anyways, let's move along.
It's very confusing that like within the same month y'all got to run the same venue as us, when for us as an independent this is a larger thing. For you this is a way to cover up the fact that a Ring of Honor pay-per-view right now could not sell out the tickets you think it could. And even asking Daniel Bryan to come back for the last big one you did in Texas to come to that show still wasn't that sold on.
Boom. Damn, I think there's more. Here's the part 2.
Still wasn't that sold on tickets. And this is nothing to the talent. I think the talent, you should take anything you can get. But also, y'all have no buzz, no draw. And we've been riding the lightning on.
Damn, yo, no buzz, no draw. And GCW is doing good. That's what I'm telling you guys. AEW is now competing with GCW and TNA. Who'd have called it? I've been saying it. I was like, dude, it's them and TNA. Them and TNA. It's no longer a WWE discussion. Hasn't been for a long time. Now it's them and GCW and this stuff, and MLW and TNA. And I've been telling y'all, check out MLW's cooking too. So here we go.
And having to actually run a profitable company for the past few years to continue existing. We do not have as much backup. I'll put it this way. My company, I don't run a company. Our company, GCW can't run on a $40 million deficit and continue to run shows.
Boom. Effy, based Effy, confirmed. Effy listens to PWT, confirmed. No, but Effy, you're welcome on the show anytime, bro.
But some of us have the privilege of being able to run at a $40 million deficit.
Brett doesn't own a football team?
Brett does not own a football team. Brett doesn't have a dad who pays him to stay away. I don't want this to be a personal thing. Like, I don't. But, hey, guys, you're not the only game in town. It's fine. I can't stop you from running venues. But in my line of work. When TNA Impact wanted to run center stage, GCW, a month before and a month after, were told we could not have those dates that we had secured before because it was competing with something they were doing. And now it just seems the game and the respect never goes both ways. And it's fine. We're not mad. Our people will be there. Our show will be great. We will show it out. But it isn't fun to see that, like, we're so out of ideas right now.
So who's the big guy on the little guy and monopolizing the wrestling industry and blah, 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 blah. AEW, here's an example of them doing that. And we said it. They're going to up these other companies that are really trying, like GCW, TNA, etc.
That the timing is that conspicuous to you showing up and doing that immediately after we announced that we're doing that.
So shout out Effy.
But if that's what Tony's hurt by, like, I mean, come on. Like,
I know
what
that's nothing.
You're saying
that's,
that's terrible.
And that's just stating like an objective truth. That's just stating like a fact of the matter. You have to take that and then like, why would Mox be allowed to go to the blood?
Yeah.
So it's maybe Mox is like, no, I do what I want, whatever. But then Marina also went too. Maybe Tony didn't want to up whatever. He respects Josh enough, but it's just silly, man. It's silliness to me. And shout out Effy for speaking up. And he's like, I don't want to make it personal. And that's the whole thing with like being, even what I do. I don't ever want to make it personal, but of course, business and personal crossover a lot of times. Wembley sold out for a celebrity charity match with KSI. This wouldn't be possible without you guys. Thank you. Can't wait to see you there. Bring on March 8th. And so AR Gold is like, WTF, sold out Wembley in mere hours? So that's what I mean. He does that to trigger AEW fans just so they can get mad at him that also follow him. Right. You guys know what I'm saying? So he does that to just to like get the likes and run them up. And that's the real bait. Like if I say some salacious, I really stand on that. I'm not going to. And here's the thing too. When I put out praise of WWE, my people don't, I mean, criticism of WWE, my people don't interact with it. And the people who would just have blocked me out already. So yeah, I don't know. AR Gold grifting, absolutely grifting here.